Welcome one and all to today's Grand Prix here in southern Russia. A beautiful location besides the Black Sea, and a race that has been dominated so far by the Silver Arrows. Mercedes have won here 6 times in a row since the first Sochi Grand Prix in 2014. Can someone else muscle in on that record here today? It's time to go racing then at the Sochi Autodrome, where the long run down to the heavy braking zone at turn 2 is one of 2 DRS zones around this 3.6-mile circuit. The other, of course, down into turn 13. 18 corners make up a lap here today, with an average speed somewhere in the region of 130 miles an hour. And what would any Grand Prix weekend be without the one and only Anthony Davidson, alongside me as always, to talk you through the action.
It's looking like a tough race for Lewis Hamilton down there. He's starting well out of position and will have a real fight in his hands to get towards the upper end of the points. One more thing to consider is the strategy element. How far can the drivers push these tyres, and who's going to blink first for fresh rubber? It'll be interesting to see if the leaders have to compromise their plan to cover off the cars behind them.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. It's Red Bull in pole position then, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Ricciardo, Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, and Vettel, Albon, Gasly, Ocon, and Sergio Perez, Stroll, Hamilton, Kimi Raikkonen, and Latifi, Giovinazzi, Magnussen, George Russell, and Lando Norris. Grosjean and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
We're starting from pole position today. That might not be the best place to start for at the Russian Grand Prix to 5. Red lights. It's lights out and away we go. We need to get a good start to try to cover out Valtteri Bottas. Oh look, Valtteri Bottas is not off to a great start. And now Daniel Ricciardo gets past the Mercedes, as Valtteri Bottas did not get the start that he would have needed to try to close up the gap in the standings to Lewis Hamilton. This man, Lewis Hamilton, who has taken a grid penalty, so he will be starting lower down than he would normally start. So that's good news for Valtteri Bottas in his last lap try to close up the gap to Lewis Hamilton to have any chance at the championship. As the two Haas's went side by side, and Grosjean gets ahead of Kevin Magnussen, but not without a little bit of contact. And the two Alfa Romeos are going side by side as well, Antonio Giovinazzi and Kimi Raikkonen, as Raikkonen is going around the outside of Antonio Giovinazzi, but it looks like Giovinazzi will have the upper hand, but they are still side by side going through now. Giovinazzi is on the inside now, and Kimi Raikkonen is on the outside and on the exit. Yes, Antonio Giovinazzi does get past Kimi Raikkonen. So what a great start for Daniel Ricciardo, as he's already up into second place. That's one of his best positions this year in 2020 for Daniel Ricciardo on the first lap, as he's up into second place already. Valtteri Bottas will need to desperately try to get past him if he wants any chance at winning this championship, not much less closing the gap. Here comes the Alpha Tauri around the outside of the Alfa Romeo. Kimi Raikkonen and Nicholas Latifi are going at it a little bit. Going through the final corner, it will depend on who gets a better exit, because it's a long run down towards turn 2. Turn 1 is not really a corner as we go through turn 1 right now. As you see, it's not really a corner, it's still flat out. And it looks like Nicholas Latifi is just ahead of Kimi Raikkonen down towards turn 1. So the Alpha Tauri gets past the Alfa Romeo. That's the more dominant of the Alpha teams today. And Ricciardo's been waiting patiently, but he's not waiting any longer. He's right up the back of us. He's got DRS, slipstream, and overtake, and Rich Mix, I'm sure. As he pulls to the right-hand side and we go down towards turn 1, he pushes us a little bit wide, and we just hop over the curbing. So that might be a penalty waiting to happen, but we will see later on in this race if that's a penalty. Lewis Hamilton is all over the back of Lance Stroll, and going for an overtake is Lewis Hamilton in the black Mercedes versus, some may call it the pink Mercedes, as they're side by side, Lance Stroll and Lewis Hamilton, as Lewis Hamilton is trying to make up some positions after not getting the best of starts, and after starting further back due to grid penalties, due to changing his engine components. But that'll mean he has a quicker engine than Lance Stroll, most likely. They both have Mercedes engines though, so it'll be very close as Lewis Hamilton is trying to go around the outside of the double right-hander, and going through the final corner now will depend who gets a better exit, and Lewis Hamilton just edges out Lance Stroll, so Lewis is in front of Stroll. That was a pretty good battle, wasn't it? I enjoyed that. Something happened. We made a little bit of contact with Daniel Ricciardo, and now we got front wing damage. Here's the replay. Going down towards turn 1, he had DRS. We cover him off to the right. He goes to the left, down towards turn 1 and into turn 1. Bam, that's where the contact came from. We banged tires sidewall to sidewall, and it gives us front wing damage in the end, and we have to go to the escape road. Here's Art on board cam going down towards turn 1. We block him off, but he goes to the right, and we make a little bit of contact by accident, but down towards turn 1, and bam, that's where the contact came from, and we decided quick enough to go through the runoff area. Here's Daniel Ricciardo. He's the one who made damage with us, as he has so much more speed than us going down towards turn 1. Accidentally make a little bit of contact, but down towards turn 1, what happens? Oh man, he just hops over the curb. The curb launched him straight into our sidewall, which in the end gives us damage on the final lap. As now we have a team radio message. It is not one that we want to hear.
You've lost access to one of the gears. We've lost one of the gears due to a fault.
And as you just heard on the team radio, we lost one of the gears as we go side by side with Daniel Ricciardo. Ricciardo tries to go the long way around, but he will not get that move done just yet. But we have lost one of the gears, so we will be slightly slow going into the final sector. But oh look, it's Valtteri Bottas trying to go down the inside. Daniel Ricciardo, which switches to the outside because it's a chicane as we lock him a little bit. And yes, Valtteri Bottas is in front of him as we ride on board with Carlos Sainz as he goes side by side with Sebastian Vettel on the final lap. So that'll be a good battle as our teammate tries to get past Sebastian Vettel now. So that was Charles Leclerc as we win the race, and our teammate just edges out Sebastian Vettel. What excitement that was in the end. So it's us in P1 and Valtteri Bottas in P2, and Daniel Ricciardo takes P3. What a great result for Daniel Ricciardo as he gets his first podium of the year.
So as they climb out of the car, the Red Bull team are ready and waiting to celebrate a thoroughly well-deserved win. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently. It's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be proud of the victory they secured here.
We take top spot, but not fastest lap, so we get 25 points, and our teammate Alexander Albon in 7th got 6 points. Yeah, it was a good race. I'm not gonna lie, it was easy to win because we had a lot of pace in the car, and Valtteri didn't get a great start, so he wasn't really challenging us. Me and Daniel made a little bit of contact going into turn 1. I think it was on the final lap, and it wasn't that great because we had damage for the rest of the lap, but we hung in, and Daniel and Valtteri battled, so it gave us quite a bit of a margin, so we won by a little bit. It was pretty close near the end, but we ended up winning, so it all worked out, and our teammate got past, I think it was Sebastian Vettel at the end to take P7, so that was good in the end.